All right, I'm going to show you another stitching technique that was briefly touched upon in the simple shibori techniques on the kimono. So this train track stitch, as I've dubbed it, is really a parallel row of lines or dots, and we see it on this larger textile on the left-hand side, and on the right I have zoomed in to show you that a bit closer, and you can see the stem of the flower, and also on the border of the textile is this train track stitch. Couple more examples. I think the time to use this is when you want something to be really bold, particularly here as we see the diamonds. And you will end up with this ridge, I'll call it, in the center, because what happens is that your fabric is pulled together, kind of folded, because of this double line of stitches, and so you will get a dark line in the center of the two stitched lines. So it's pretty simple. Here you can see I used some tailor chalk and drew a double line, and this was about 1/4 of an inch apart, and I made one stitch forward, and then I would go to the other side to make my next stitch forward, and back and forth I went. When I finished up, I gathered my fabric as tight as I possibly could. And one of my challenges in doing this was keeping the gathering absolutely tight. And I tried at first making my end knot actually in the fabric, but I found that my gathering started to come loose. So in the end, what I did was I threaded my needle through my second to last stitch that I'd made and pulled tight. So here's my finished napkin with 5 rows of the train track stitch, and you'll notice that the ones on the ends, the lines on the ends, are a bit thicker, and that is, I believe, because I had my 2 parallel lines slightly further apart than I did with the other 3. So that's definitely something I would like to practice a bit more and just see if I can have a bit more control. Here we go. Now you'll probably see it a bit better. What's really clear to me when I did this is, or I should say when I took it apart, is that my center row, interestingly enough, is the one that I managed to pull the tightest. You will notice that my indigo color in between the rows is not perfectly flat or unified, and that's pretty hard to get just because the fabric is gathered. It's, I guess we'll call it part of the process. So now I've tried it. How about you?